Okay, so as of version 050 of Metahuman Creator and the associated bridge, our preview models from Unreal Engine of Metahumans are now coming through Headless. So if we want to use those in MotionBuilder, we can still do everything as we did before. So here I'm just going to very quickly characterize a headless metahuman because it still has the head joints and the neck joints. Everything works out fine, and we'll just go ahead and finish this little characterization. So with the characterization done, I always like to save the file as a preview, basically with an _char, so I've got the characterized model in a saved FBX. So I'm just going to go ahead and save as and change the preview suffix here to char for characterized and save that out. All right, so with all of that done, we're ready to go. Except that our metahuman is completely headless. So if we were to preview any animation on this, well, preview mesh, it wouldn't really work out too well because we couldn't really see where the head was facing. So we can correct this pretty easily though. Let's go over to Unreal Engine, switch over to there. And here's my metahuman. All I'm going to do is export the face mesh over to MotionBuilder. So I'll double click on the BP for the metahuman, choose the face component, and click the magnifying glass for the face mesh. And that will find it here in the content browser. So I'll right click and choose Asset Actions and Export. All right, this will create an export for an FBX file. I'm going to go ahead and save that. And I'm going to want to adjust just a couple of these options. We're going to get rid of LOD for level of detail. We're going to get rid of the collision mesh and the morph targets. We just really don't need all of those, and they're going to bog down our file. So that we just have our mesh itself, and go ahead and export. And that will send out that file. And then really cool thing is right here in MotionBuilder, all we have to do is merge that in. So File, Merge. We'll choose that face mesh export and merge. Cool thing is it has the same skeleton. So it's going to drop right into place on our character and adopt the same exact skeleton. So if we go ahead to Models Only, we get to see our metahuman complete with a head and eyes and eyelashes and all that good stuff. And it's all rigged together. So if I go ahead and change my character source to control rig and say FKIK, I can go ahead and grab the neck and we can move the head. Wonderful. Grab the head. We can move the head. And all of this stays attached to the full body. So if I grab the spine, all of this is just ducky. All right, W. And all right, all good. So that is all we need to do to correct the fact that the heads don't come over with the preview mesh anymore. And now you just have a nearly headless metahuman preview, but you're ready to animate in MotionBuilder. Okay, just a final few notes on how to use this. Number one, if you'd like the head to match the look of the body, we can just give it the same material. Basically, we'll select the head mesh and then find it in the scene by right-clicking here in the navigator and choosing, let's see, expand to selection. And there's our face. And then if we expand that, you'll see all these different materials that we don't need. So we can select all of those and right-click, choose delete, and all the way over here, confirm. And yes, okay, and yes to all. All right, so now that matches a little more nicely. And I could also, save this as with head, right? So save as, and it's character and underscore with, WHEAD, head, and save that. So now I can bring this up anytime I want, and the head is already attached. Okay, so at this point, I can retarget my motion capture data or animate. The only thing is, if we show all the joints, we've got all these extra joints, and we probably don't want to export those over to Unreal Engine for our metahuman body. So just a quick workflow note, here's what I would probably do. Let's go to Models Mode and Story, and right-click. I'm just going to insert a character animation track, and then select this character And then I'll add some animation here. So I'm going to right click and choose an animation file that I already have. And this is run fast. Open. And this is just a pre-characterized Mixamo animation. And so there is our Metahuman running fast. I'll right click and frame start end. So now I've got that entire mocap animation in there, and our Metahuman is running, and we're happy with that, and we can see where the face is, and that's all great. So I want to bake all of this. One of the things is that I've run into a couple crashes baking onto this modified skeleton that now has the head, but if you bake to the control rig first and then to the skeleton, everything seems to work. So I'll go to my character control here and do bake plot to control rig first and send that to FKIK. All right, and so that's now on there, and then bake it once again to the skeleton. So now the joint system has that animation. Okay, I'm going to save this as MH running fast, or MH running. So save as, and MH for my Metahuman and running. And I'll just save that and save. Okay, so now I've got this characterized character that's running. I just want to create a copy of this without the head so that it imports cleanly into Unreal Engine. So let's go ahead and file, open, and in this case I'm going to open the original characterized body that does not have the head. And then we'll wrap this up just by applying that animation to this body. So again, on the story mode, we're inserting a character animation track, assigning it to our character, right click, insert an animation file, and this will be the MH running. Open that. And there we go. Right click, frame start end. And finally, we can plot, bake this to the skeleton. And this is good to go. File, save as, and we'll just call this MH running export. Probably could have come up with a better name, but there we are. So now we can go over to Unreal Engine, right click, import, and we'll choose our MH running export. Open that. We're not going to import the mesh. We're just going to apply that to our Metahuman base skeleton, import, and double click. We'll make sure that this gets assigned. Our retarget source is going to be the same source skeleton. So I think that was a male, medium, normal weight. Body preview is fine. And save that. And finally, we can just test that out here in Unreal. I'll just drag my Metahuman out into the level, and we'll go ahead and just adjust the LODs so that we can see them all the time. Number of LODs 1, the forced LOD of 0. There we are. Just finish this off by going and creating an animation level sequence. Selected Metahuman, add a track, actor to sequencer, BP. That should add our Metahuman. We won't need the control rig, so we'll right click on that and delete it. And finally for the body, we're going to add a track, animation, I'll type in run, and there's our running export, and there is our running Metahuman. So all is well. Okay, hope this helps. Until next time, have fun.